station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and it's a day game. We will get this in. Light drizzle falling here in downtown St. Louis. We start on time, though. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Al Hrabosky alongside. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Good matchup here today in game number 2 of this series. Should be game 3. Washout yesterday. It's Bronson Arroyo and Mike Leake, and Arroyo still going strong for the Reds at age 40.
Yeah, at age 40, he made his appearance earlier this year against the Cardinals and got roughed up by Aledmys Diaz and the Redbirds. He'll invent the pitch. Just think of the kitchen sink. If he could throw that, he would, as he just goes out there and tries to get you with off-speed stuff.
On the other side, it is the former Red who's off to a great start. A look at our Hyundai pitch arsenal there with Mike Leake.
Yeah, Mike Leake is really doing an outstanding job. The ERA just over 1. All 4 starts, he's had a quality start. He was beaten earlier this year, and he only gave up 1 run in 8 innings to the Cincinnati Reds. Still looking for his first win against his former teammates.
And that was only 2 hits in those 8 innings, but the offense could not come through in that Friday night start for Mike Leake against Cincinnati. We'll see what he has in store here today. The umbrellas are out, but baseball is coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Reds and Cardinals. Baseball here this afternoon. If you missed it on Friday night, it's one of the greatest moments you've ever missed, because watch this. Bases loaded, Lynn on the ropes, Suarez to third. Here comes Jed Jerko, picked off. The threat is through. An amazing play by Yadier Molina and Jed Jerko, surprising everyone here at the ballpark. The reaction of the managers after the game.
He's done it before. It just doesn't get noticed much when an out's not made, but they've done that this year. He just, you know, I love watching when these guys just go about it like it's a backyard pickup game and looking for fun things or something out of the box to do, and Yadi's eyes are always looking for that. That's part of what makes him special.
Well, not like that. I saw Molina pick a guy off first base in the WBC after he was celebrating a base hit, and the same thing. You know, you take the eye, your eye off the ball, and he'll find a way to back pick you, and that's what he does. I mean, he's famous for it. You know, got about everybody in the National League's been picked off by this guy at least once in their careers if they've been here long enough. And you know, today it was he just waited. He had I think he had very much an idea of what he was looking for if. You know, if that situation arose, and Gino came around the bag and just took a step or two off the bag, and you know, it was a heads-up play by Jerko too to be ready for the throw. And
47 career pickoffs for Yadier Molina, fourth most ever by a catcher in Major League history. The difference in the game on Friday night. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Very wet day here in St. Louis. That's been the case the month of April. Certainly this weekend. A live look at Mike Leake doing some work on that mound. The Cardinals field in general, it drains about as well as any field in baseball. After the Winter Classic, it was a new drainage system put in by Bill Finley and his crew. So this ground can take an awful lot of rain and wetness. The infield has been covered for the last couple of days, and that's the real aspect, those dirt areas that you look at too.
Yeah, they've done a great job here getting it ready, but that's good for Cardinal Nation where we draw from such a vast area that people come from hours away. It's always good to know that if it stops, you're going to be able to play baseball. So couldn't play yesterday because the rain never stopped. That's for sure, right?
It was pouring here in St. Louis, and this morning Billy Hamilton leads it off, followed by Zach Cozart and Joey Votto. Then Adam Duvall, Eugenio Suarez, Scott Schebler, Jose Peraza, Tucker Barnhart, and the pitcher batting ninth, Bronson Arroyo. You can see in that shot the rain still falling as we speak. The numbers on Mike Leake, very impressive, 3-1 and a 1.32 ERA to lead the National League.
All 4 of his starts have been quality starts, and he doesn't beat himself. He has not allowed a home run yet this year, and very few walks allowed. Good combination for a win.
The Cardinals defense around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Grichuk, Fowler, Piscotti in the outfield. Jerko, Diaz, Wong, and Carpenter on the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Billy Hamilton, the switch hitter, 7 for 11 against Mike Leake. Off to a slow start, hitting just .211. And the first pitch is taken for a ball.
So important to keep him off bases. His ability to steal.
When you go back to the loss that Leake had against Cincinnati, Hamilton singled to lead off the 6th, stole second, and came home on a Votto double, and that was the difference in the game. Cardinals were shut out. Leake went 8 innings, gave up just 2 hits, but took a loss, and it's 1-2 on Hamilton.
He hasn't beaten his former teammates yet.
Another breaking ball. Made 5 starts as a Cardinal against Cincinnati. He is 0-3. The Cardinals have lost all 5 games. Here's a 1-2. Hit off the end of the bat and foul. His counterpart today was, as you mentioned on Friday night, always at his side. Bronson Arroyo, those two with Cincinnati for a number of years, as Mike Leake was drafted by the Reds in 2009, then jumped right to the major leagues. Here's a 1-2 again. It's sharply left side. Jerko stays down on it. Nice play.
Been real impressed with Jerko, particularly at third base. A lot better defensively than I thought he was going to be. Probably his best position is second, but in the absence of Peralta, he is not disappointed a bit. Playing in, so cut down the angle a little bit. You know, with Billy Hamilton's speed, you got to make sure you get that ball and don't waste any time getting it over first.
Here's Zach Cozart. Strike 1. Ryan Price moved up Cozart to the number 2 spot in the lineup for game 1 of this series. It had been occupied by Jose Peraza, who did not start. There's another ground ball. Leake steps, throws. 2 down. Peraza, by the way, in the lineup here this afternoon. And it brings in Joey Votto, who's homered in consecutive games and 3 home runs in his last 6. A total of 8 for the season.
Home runs are a big part of the offense for the Reds. They've homered in 20 of the 23 games.
Average is down for Votto, along with the on-base percentage. You may recall last year, first 2 months, got off to a terrible start, then hit about 400 the rest of the way.
And his numbers will be there again. One of the best hitters of this era.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Mike Leake has won each of his last 3 starts. He's only won 4 consecutive starts, one time in his career. That was in July of 2015. As he was a free agent to be and then traded to San Francisco for Adam Duvall. And Duvall is at the on-deck circle. 3-1.
He rarely walks anybody, but if you understand him pitching around Votto here, make him hit your pitch, which is really tough to do with his great on-base percentage.
Here's a 3-1 pitch, hit the other way, and a base hit for Votto. So if you're wondering about the footing in this game, at least at the time being, it would be more about the outfielders, and we saw some of the guys running and getting loose, kind of tiptoeing around the outfield. It is very wet. The infield, though, is now starting to take on some of this rain. The ball will skip, and we saw that on Jerko's play at third.
One thing these outfielders know, they're not, everything's about the infield, but the outfielders really are not playing in any puddles because of the draining system.
So here's Duvall, who is 5 for 16, a couple of home runs off a leak.
Mentioned they were traded for each other.
And Duvall has been a nice find here for Cincinnati.
And he's from Louisville, and that's where their AAA affiliate is. Oh, he went home.
0-1 pitch, rips it into left, and that's a base hit. Votto to second base. He'll stop there. So Leake got the first 2, and now back-to-back singles, and it brings in Suarez.
All down. Nice piece of hitting right there. Just tell right there you're not seeing any splashes with that ball hitting the outfield.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Whip. So you're talking about the lack of walks, and that leads to a .88 mark for Mike Leake. Suarez hitting .333. And he was the man tagged out at third on that great play by Yadier Molina that we saw during the open. Mike Matheny termed it a playground type play. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike. That type of play needs to be sold on not just Molina's end, but Jerko too. Casually going to the bag at third and not selling it initially. He didn't. Deked the runner, and Mike with a lefty coming up. The bases would have been loaded. Lynn was at over 100 pitches. They would have gone to the bullpen, and the game was on the line. It was 3-1, the score at that time. Just a terrific play all the way around. A ball and 2 strikes on Suarez. Reaching for it, and a fly ball to Dexter Fowler. A few steps back. Makes the catch. The Reds strand 2, and the Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. Minor league contract with an invite to spring training, and because of injuries, he now is in the rotation for the Cincinnati Reds. The Cardinals' leadoff man is Dexter Fowler. 8-3, the Cardinals' record when he scores a run. As he goes, this lineup goes. Fowler, Diaz, and Carpenter here in the first, followed by Jerko, Piscotty, Molina, Randall Grichuk, Wong, and Mike Leake. Numbers on Bronson this year. He's given up a lot of home runs. 6 in just 21 innings of work. Cardinals got to him in his initial start of the year here at Busch Stadium, as they knocked a couple of home runs out in that game, 2 by Aledmys Diaz.
Last 5 starts, Arroyo has really struggled here at Busch Stadium. 0-5, ERA at 6. He's in 38 starts. He is 8-18 against St. Louis.
Dexter Fowler, 4 consecutive multi-hit games coming into play, 9 for his last 18, and 6 runs scored. So swinging a hot bat any way you want to look at it.
And you brought up a good point earlier, Dan, talking about Fowler, that didn't panic. You know, when he was struggling, didn't panic, knew it would come around, and it has.
That's hit up the middle, backhanded by Peraza. Tough play and a pick by the former Gold Glover at first in Joey Votto. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler in the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, Peraza, and Votto on the infield. Tucker Barnhart is behind the plate. So Diaz has hit safely in 7 of 8. And as I mentioned earlier, 2 home runs in that first meeting against Arroyo. Anybody that watches Diaz day in and day out, we've seen him maybe expand his zone a little bit at the plate. This time last year was off to a ridiculous start. Hits it to short. Cozart gets it on the short hop. And there's 2 down.
Bronson now 40 years of age and never really threw hard, but now definitely below the comfort level, you know, the pitching velocity of today's hitters.
What do you think that is now?
What's that?
How hard?
You know, I would say it's got to be 90 and 92.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
So when you're throwing 84, you know, I mean, that's a tough adjustment.
A shift on here for Carpenter, and the first pitch, a strike at 68 miles an hour.
Oh, and see, that's like you watch the in fantasy camp. You watch the alumni or the veteran Cardinal players. You'll get a 72-year-old gentleman out there pitching, and they can't hit him because it's too slow. Get the young guy that is really proud of his you know, fastball that probably touches 75, and he gets raked.
High drive down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No, out of play. 1-2 the count. We saw on Friday night the streak ended 16 consecutive games reaching base for Matt Carpenter. At least initially, he has struggled here at home, hitting around 165 or so.
I think we're all comfortable and confident that that will change.
So the Cardinals find out they get to the ballpark early yesterday. The game is called, and for some of the players, they get right out of here, rest up. Mike Matheny said those some had to get some work in, throw on the side, and a little extra BP. A lot of guys in the weight room, but some get out of here. The 2-2.
I'd be shocked if you told me that Carpenter was one that left.
I'm shocked when anybody leaves anymore. As much work as these guys put in. 3-2 pitch. Pulled foul.
And Dan, when we talk to managers or coaches on all the staffs, the one thing that they say is today's players hit way too much.
They feel it reinforces at times
negative
bad habits.
Yeah, I mean, you swing and swing and swing, and your arms get tired, and then you start picking up bad habits. And you're training your body for them.
3-2 is hit down the right field line, and that ball is foul. Well, you wouldn't think Arroyo would have a pitch to put away a left-handed batter in particular. Kind of floats it up there, slings it. Breaky ball comes right in the zone. As Carpenter needs to get something to either grip or a new bat.
Doesn't wear the batting gloves. Didn't want the pine tar. He's got just a towel to dry off his bat.
You know, when he took that ball in New York off his finger, I said, did you think about going to batting gloves? He said, it didn't even cross my mind. No way. A 3-2 pitch again. And he walked him. 2-out walk. And it brings in Jerko.
Brahms is coming off his best start. His last time out, went 6 innings, throwing just 66 pitches.
So Jerko getting the bulk of the playing time at third. Johnny Peralta is getting better, we are told. Mike Matheny said before the game that he had a very tough conversation with Peralta and pulling him aside and saying, you just don't look right, as Jerko rips it out to left. And it's over the head of Duvall. Racing into second base, and just in there safely is Jed Jerko. That got out there in a hurry.
Now the ball jumps off his bat too. And Duvall, our left fielder, is a real good one. Got a strong throwing arm. Here he plays the carom perfectly, gets it back in. Raza might have been at the bag, you know, might have run right into that tag.
And it brings in Piscotty, who was 2 for 3 with a walk on Friday night. And he has walked in 3 straight, so maybe seeing the ball a little bit better. That's hit down the left field line, a hanger, and it's pulled foul. Just to further the numbers on Arroyo that Al talked about, he has not earned a win against the Cardinals since all the way back in 2012. 6 straight losses, and the team is 0-8 in 8 starts since that last win.
Of course, the first road trip of the year for the Reds, they were 5-1. And now they're on their second road trip, and they're winless to this point. They've lost 4 straight.
Runners at second and third, and an 0-1. What hitters talk about, Al, with Arroyo is that the ball starts out in the strike zone and it looks like a beach ball. You know, it's coming in 75 miles an hour, and then right at the end gets guys to go after that pitch out of the zone. That movement.
And he'll throw his fastball there, and you know, it's about 86 miles an hour, but it feels like it's 96 with so many off-speed pitches. Almost as if he uses fastball as his changeup. And then all the off-speed pitches, you know, get you out on the front foot. Really have to be patient.
1-2. Gets through the catcher, Barnhart. Here comes Carpenter, and he'll score. 1-0 St. Louis. And a wild pitch by Arroyo.
He scored a wild pitch, but I'm sure Barnhart, will tell you, probably should have stopped that ball. Just got right through the legs. Didn't quite smother it, and the Cardinals get the quick lead. Watch that, Danton. He should have had that ball.
2-2 the count. Runner at third now is Jerko. Hit to third. Suarez up with it. And a strike to Joey Votto. So with 2 outs, a wild pitch charged to Bronson Arroyo. And that scores Carpenter, and after 1, it's 1-0. driver's seat. And the most pickoffs since 2004. Molina with 47, the Angels with 46, and the Cubs with 31. And he is a weapon.
His brother Jose had 22 of those Angel pickoffs.
So here it is again. 2 nights ago. Ball 4 should be bases loaded with 2 outs. Lynn probably out of the game. A pick off of Suarez, and it just changed the tone of the game.
Absolutely right. It reminds me of having a conversation with Ted Simmons and the tribute he paid to Yachty.
0-2 is in the dirt to Schebler.
And Teddy was saying he sees things on a baseball diamond that nobody else sees. And just his preparation and just that his awareness of every situation during the course of the game.
1-2, tap foul. Schebler with 5 home runs in his last 5 games. 11 of his 17 hits have gone for extra bases.
And you know, Yachty signed that 3-year contract, so as Teddy told me in spring training, he said he would recommend signing Yachty if he was 50.
That's hit down the right field line, and that ball is home run distance but foul. Well, knowing Molina, he might play till 50. Who knows? I was thinking that the other day. I mean, you give him a 3-year deal, extend him, but does it ensure that he would finish his career in St. Louis?
Yeah, there was never that part of the equation. You know, where you go through this in 3 years. You know, what if he says he wants to play a couple more?
That's ripped down the right field line again, and a fair ball into the corner. Schebler slipped. Throw by Piscotty is not in time. That's his 4th double of the year to go along with 8 home runs.
Hey, we'll watch that, as you said, after he touched first base. In stride or so, he fell down, but after rounding the bag at first base, those are little things that the umpiring crew will look for to make sure that it is safe conditions to play.
I would assume that's why the play with Jerko wound up being as close as it was with his double to left. He probably was tiptoeing around the bag at first. Here's Jose Peraza. He's at second base. And strike 1. Peraza just might be the everyday shortstop before it's all said and done for the Reds. Depending on what happens with Zach COZART. They traded Brandon Phillips, who's now with Atlanta. There's a good changeup, 0-2.
COZART's a free agent after the season, and they tried to trade him. Almost was traded to Seattle, but he fell through. So Peraza getting the bulk of the playing time at second.
Time called, 0-2 the count. Peraza called up at the end of last season and put up very good numbers. Good block by Molina. Outfield shades him a bit towards right center. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Ouch. Cincinnati last year with 68 and 94, but finished up 1 game below 500 in the second half. It was a terrible first half. They went 32 and 57. Little better start here this year. And the 1-2 pitch. Got him. First strikeout of the afternoon for Mike Leake. So here is what we're talking about. Jerko and Schebler both with doubles here this afternoon. And Jerko, it was more of an equipment issue going around first base. And then Schebler slipping around the bag. He'll continue to put the drying agent on the dirt throughout the game. There's a ground ball pulled foul. Tucker Barnhart at the plate. We saw the return to the big leagues of Devin Mesoraco on Friday night. And Brian Price is saying that he, along with Barnhart, will play 50-50. And if one emerges, one gets hot, one will get more playing time. But Mesoraco will catch 5 of the next 10 so he can get with each starter. They also have a Rule 5 catcher in Stuart Turner, so what do you do with him? That's hit the other way and a base hit. Grichuk hits the cut. Runners at the corners with Bronson Arroyo coming up. And let's turn to our Toyota key to the game.
Well, when you talk about Mike Leake, he has not allowed a home run this year, so a good guy to have here. Keep the ball in the ballpark. He doesn't walk very many, just a little over 1 per start, and that's a good formula. Talked about how Hamilton has success against him, so if you keep him off the bases, you don't allow home runs, and don't walk anybody, you're in pretty good shape.
Let's see how the Reds want to play it here. Arroyo squaring to bunt, and there's strike 1. Now, from the Cardinals' perspective, how do they want to play it?
Well, they're going to try and they want to get the out here and keep the runner at third base. And possibly, you know, you could possibly bunt into a double play. You got Jerko really charging down on third base side. See back in double play depth or the middle infielders.
And the 0-1. Now it's 0-2. Not a lot of margin for error if you're Bronson Arroyo. You got to get these bunts down.
Yeah, I mean, you can really help yourself. And that's one thing the Cardinals, because they got a couple guys that can hit that are pitchers, but they've been very productive with the 9th spot in the order. And if you're going to be a starting pitcher, you've got to get these bunts down and help your own cause.
2 strikes now. Outfield very shallow for Arroyo. Fastball struck him out. 2 strikeouts today, both coming here in the top of the 2nd.
Key got Hamilton to ground out the first time up. With his speed, puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Talk about the success he's had against Mike Leake, so you got to be very careful right here.
After that ground out in the first and a good play by Jerko, he is 7 for 12 against Mike Leake. So the switch hitter, top of the lineup, Billy Hamilton digs in. For the Reds, you mentioned it before, Al, the middle of the lineup very good. Votto, Duvall, Schebler just kills the Cardinals. If Hamilton can get on, it changes the complexion of the game for Cincinnati.
Well, you didn't even talk about, you know, now they're going to come in and discuss this with the infielders, but it seems like Mike Leake is working at a lot slower pace than we normally see now.
The State Farm perfect pair taking a look at the leadoff hitters on both sides. Those are the career numbers for both Billy Hamilton and Dexter Fowler. Stolen bases for Hamilton, 194. Last year he had 58 in 64 attempts. He was injured for much of last season. Dealt with a shoulder injury.
He was leading the league in steals the last 2 years before having a season-ending injury.
This year already with 10. He's been caught once. 2 balls and no strikes. Runners at first and third. And 2 outs. Out to Fowler. Backing up. Makes the catch. And again, the Reds strand 2. They've led 4 on through 2. St. Louis on top. To you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. By Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. Rainy day, a rainy weekend here in the Gateway City. But good that we have baseball back. No makeup date for yesterday officially announced. There's a lot of things you have to look at as Molina takes a strike, and one of those would be a mutual off day and then getting approval from the Players Association to play on that off day. Slowly hit towards third, and Suarez retires Yadier Molina. 21 days, and players deserve a break. So the players then at that point, they're playing 21 days in a row, have to give the approval to do that, to play on that off day. Here's Randall Grichuk.
Which we feel that too many off days in the month of April. You know, you could use those later on, the dog days of the summer.
Next year the season starts early, and the idea behind that is that every team would enjoy one off day every week throughout the season, as baseball is trying to figure out any way to keep players on the field, and by having an off day and more rest, it can be beneficial.
They're also talking about, since they moved the disabled list down to 10 days, now that's going to get worn out, isn't it, the DL list?
A lot of players have gone on the DL that maybe wouldn't do that in years past. 10 days you can sustain it, you know, you can handle it. 15's a half a month. Pitchers, depending on how it falls with a schedule, might miss only one start.
And I told you that in my era, there was one disabled list and there was 21 days. And no chance, you know, there was no such thing as sending you down to have a rehab of the minor leagues. You know, came off that list, you had to be ready to play.
3-2 pitch, and a walk to Grichuk. Second walk handed out by Arroyo. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
Looked like it was outside, and it was. Also, Dan, when guys started going on the disabled list, that was an indication that you were nearing the end of your career. I mean, people just didn't go on the disabled. There were no surgeries.
And there were players ready to take your spot. Long hits it out of play. Average up to 258 quietly. And he's been a catalyst here on this homestand against the Blue Jays. Playing every day, getting into a rhythm. See if the Cardinals would want to be aggressive against Arroyo, who's not very quick to the plate. Obviously doesn't throw very hard. The question would be, I think, on both sides would be footing for the runner on a rainy day, trying to get a jump.
And I'm a little surprised that, you know, we saw that the slips around first base. You would think that, you know, with the field being covered, that that wouldn't be an issue with this drainage system.
And they did pull the tarp. We did have a little rain, and it looked like it was a slip of the bag on the bag. And the check of Grichuk at first base. The high so far for Arroyo has been 87 miles an hour. So not very quick to the plate. Doesn't throw very hard. Bigger lead this time by Grichuk. The 1-1. He is running, and it's tapped foul. '87 the high, the low of 68. So certainly if you get an off-speed pitch too, that even adds to the fact that you might want to run, and he throws a ton of off-speed pitches.
I think if you get that jump, you feel comfortable with it.
Here's a 1-2, and Wong hits it down the right field line and out of play. With Arroyo on the mound, there's going to be some souvenirs down that right and left field line. Guys way out in front. Since April 17th, Wong with 7 extra base hits, tied with Fowler for the team high, then Jerko and Carpenter. It's another 1-2.
Talk about how Cardinals go, way Fowler goes. I think part of the success for Fowler lately has been the low end of the order getting on ahead of him.
Pulled the string, and a strikeout at 76 miles an hour. The first strikeout for Arroyo. Well, you talked about this. The fact is the Cardinals are second in all of baseball for the 9th spot in their lineup. So primarily you're talking about pitchers doing damage. 17 RBIs, 18 runs scored, 6 home runs from the 9th position of a National League team, second only to the Yankees.
They've got the DH employed there, so yeah, it's been guys like Wainwright and Leake that have come through, and then with how well the Cardinal pinch hitters have done in that 9 hole. Leake helped his own cause last time out.
Floats it in there for strike 2. Wainwright is connected as a pinch hitter, and the home run and 4 RBIs 2 starts ago in Milwaukee. Last time out, Leake a pair of RBIs against the Brewers. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This season 4 for 10, a home run, and he's driven in 4. Leake breaks his bat, and a fly ball lifted out to Adam Duvall. Backs up, makes the catch. Cardinals strand a runner, their second of the afternoon. We're through 2, and the Birds on top. frozen drinks, any size drink, 50 cents the next day and on the run when the Redbirds score 6. So keep the celebration going and stop by On the Run tomorrow for a thirst quenching win. You earned it. It's nice that we're not seeing the umbrellas out or the ponchos all that much. Rain has stopped in a strike. The sun is actually trying to peek through the clouds. Also, we had a great moment between innings as the grounds crew is out and added the Raboski to the back end of the pitcher's mound. There it is.
I heard you and Horton.
Go ahead, Al. Describe it.
The only thing has been done for the pitchers since 1968 is that little piece of plastic to clean your spikes, and it doesn't work.
That's hit down the left field line and foul.
The old tongue depressor is the best remedy.
So you never liked the rubberized cleaning of the spikes there?
Nah.
Didn't work. It's pulled foul. We had COZART at the plate.
We had the steel spikes too. Think any of these guys know what steel spikes, what that's all about?
Some.
Some of them still wear them.
Some. There's a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for Mike Leake. And then you have today's starter Bronson Arroyo, who is wearing the old Kenny Lofton model of Nike. It's not Kenny's shoes, but it was his model from back in the day. Votto flips the bat, upset. And an easy ground out to Cole Long for out number 2. Ceremonial first pitch. MCRM Fertility Day here at the ballpark. And this is Peter Allering with his daughter Sophie watching. It was a ball, but not bad, Doc. There's Sophie in the background, watching intently as Dad threw the ceremonial first pitch to Tyler Lyons. But Doc Allering has helped out a lot of people here in the Midwest, and great to hear him here at the ballpark and see him. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Duvall, and it's taken for a ball. You know, people that throw out those ceremonial first pitches, Al, they train for a long time. They get ready. Biggest thing I hear is I want to make it on a fly. I got to make it on a fly. Then I focus on the strike zone.
Or even President Bush practiced a little bit. Of course, he was wearing a vest also. Makes a little trick here.
His famous first pitch after 9/11 at Yankee Stadium. That's ripped into the gap in right center. That'll go all the way to the wall. Duvall is 2 for 2 and trots into second base with a double.
Mentioned he was traded for Mike Leake when Mike went at the trade deadline years ago to San Francisco. And Duvall got off to a horrible start when he was playing in his hometown of Louisville, right up the end of the bat. But he was an all-star last year in a breakout season.
I talked to him the other day about growing up there and playing at the University of Louisville, which at one point was #1 in the country this year in college baseball. But he grew up a Cardinal fan, actually. He used to come to Busch Stadium. Here is Suarez with a runner at second base. And a pitch inside. Well, the Cardinals shift anyway, so it puts Wong near the bag at second base. You think about a base hit that maybe could turn into a play at the plate.
Yeah, that's the purpose for Wong being so close at second, is to cut down on the lead for Duvall. So, as you said, a base hit to the outfield, it's not guaranteed he will score.
So he's very tight to that bag at second.
Also allows him to get sneak in behind after the pitch is made if Yachty wants to try and pick them off. Which I think we'll all be paying more attention to, right?
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Leake has pitched out of a couple of jams already in this game. Retired the first two back in the first inning, then back-to-back singles. Suarez flied out. Last inning, runners at the corners, only one out. He struck out Arroyo. Hamilton flied out to center to end that threat. And now it's 2 outs with a runner at second. 2-2 the count. Get a look at the movement with that shot from behind home plate as Molina now calls time. Leake is working with Molina today. A couple of the starts he's worked with Eric Fryer, and those two have been on the same page.
You know, I talked to Mike a little bit a year ago. You know, Mike Leake was, when he was with Cincinnati, didn't have a catcher that was noted for calling a game, and I think he kind of had a little conflict with Yachty last year, is because he's so used to calling his own game, where all the other Cardinal pitchers, whatever Molina puts down, they throw. And I think there was a little, you know, well, I know you want me to throw this pitch, but I don't want to throw that pitch. You got to go with the pitcher.
The 2-2. Ultimately, it's the W or the L behind that name.
Exactly. You know, I mean, a catcher puts down a suggestion. Now, if you're throwing a pitch that you don't believe in, it's going to be a wrong pitch.
3-2. Inside and a walk. Brings in Schebler, who's swinging a hot bat and is hit now in 8 straight against the Cardinals with his double into the corner and right back in the second. A rare walk by Mike Leake. Runners at first and second and 2 outs. And the first pitch to Schebler, fouled back. What a difference a year makes. Leake comes in with the ERA of 1.32, best in the National League. Finished up last year at 4.69. That was third from the bottom in the National League among starters.
Remember last year he was really victimized by 23 infield errors, most on the staff. This year they've been very good behind him. And I think Mike Leake has learned an awful lot from last year. That's why, you know, he and Yachty are on the same page now. Yachty knows him, he knows Yachty, and they'll go together and get that scouting report, make those decisions before, or the preparation.
Cardinals welcome in Milwaukee tomorrow, first of 4. Michael Wacha, Zach Davies. We're on the air at 6:30. Our fans get a look at the phenomenon Eric Thames, and he has been that.
11 home runs in the National League, and what, 8 of the 11 have been hit against Cincinnati pitching?
8 against the Reds. That's incredible. And we're in April. 2-2 the count. And a foul ball. Just joined us. This game did start on time with the rain falling ever so lightly. And the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. 2-out wild pitch that scored Matt Carpenter back in the first. The 2-2. Ooh, just missed. Runners get a start here on 3-2, 2 outs. First and second. Outfield very deep. There they go. The 3-2 is hit up the middle. Long jump stop throw. Oh, what a play! Colt Long takes a hit away and a run. Ends the threat. Tremendous play from the Cardinals second baseman Colt Long. Reds say they want to look at it. They are, and now they've just done it. Replay showed it looked to me that he was out, so no challenge.
But he was out to the naked eye also.
Me too. Another look. Oh yeah.
Bag, no chance.
Great play, Colton Wong. Reaction of Mike Matheny. Nicely done, Colton. It stays 1-0. So the Reds took a long look at it, but no challenge. And we're back to the top of the lineup moments ago. What a play there by Colton Wong.
A lot of times you think of infielders, you say, oh, I'll put a guy at second. He didn't have to have a long throw.
And Fowler, a fly ball into right field. Schebler in a few steps to make the catch.
There's a lot of times where you'll be going like Colton Wong was, racing towards the outfield, and you got to jump and throw and get him out of first base. Well, a very difficult throw.
Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Cardinals home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video, highlights, and more, all at MLB.com. Diaz grounded to short. His first time up. That's the kind of infield defense that will keep Mike Leake winning games.
Yes. And that's what John Mozeliak's talking about, the Cardinal general manager, of how the athleticism and why it's so important to have Colton Wong in that lineup on a daily basis.
0-2 pitch. And Diaz, a fly ball off the end of the bat, backing up the second baseman Peraza for the second out. So Arroyo got the first two back in the first inning. Then he walked Matt Carpenter. Jerko the double to left. Carpenter advanced to third, and then on a wild pitch to Steven Piscotty scored the only run of our game. Arroyo in the top 10 in franchise history for the Reds. They're 100+ years. Strikeouts, starts, wins, innings pitched. 8 years with the Reds after a trade with the Boston Red Sox. Cincinnati gave up Willie Mo Pena, and Arroyo came to the Reds after winning the World Series with Boston all the way back in 2004 against these Cardinals. He was drafted in 1995 and started, people forget, with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's a 1-1. The 2-1 pitch. Inside. Currently, the Reds have dropped 4 straight, and their starters a big reason why. Not going deep into games. And their ERA during the 4-game losing skid is near 14. Carpenter certainly could drop down a bunt here on 3-1 with a big shift. And instead, he looks at strike 2. Here's a 3-2. Hits it the other way and just spoiled the pitch.
And by carrying the Rule 5 third catcher means the Reds have 1 less reliever. They got 7 relievers. And they're going to have a merry-go-round going back and forth because their starters can't go deep. They've only thrown 10 more innings than the relief corps.
Carpenter a base hit into right. Schebler over. Spins, fires to second. Carpenter is there as the throw is offline. And it's a 2-out double for Matt Carpenter.
That's what you want to see. Carpenter normally gets so many doubles. League leaders a lot of time. Down and in, just drops that bat head. Schebler comes over here, cuts it off, gets the ball back in, but it was offline. It was to the outfield side.
Swing on those balls that are down and into Carpenter is so odd how he hits them.
Yeah.
But it works for him, and it works all the time.
Like a golf club.
It's crazy. Now Jerko, his double and left over the glove of Duvall back in the first inning. Outfield is deep straight away, and the first pitch is taken for a ball. We saw last year in his first season with the Cardinals, Jerko could be really streaky, and when he gets on one of those good streaks, he's as hot as anybody in the game with power.
Loves to hit the fastball. Loves to get his hands extended, and he can hit it out to opposite field with ease.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Normally you tell a hitter to go up there and look for a fastball, and you're going to get it somewhere in the bat. Here you're not really sure, but there you see ball out away from him right off the end of the bat, but get that ball up a little bit.
Here's a 1-1. Puts it in play, hit to third, glove by Suarez. Tavato. Cardinals strand Matt Carpenter. After his 2-out double, they've left 3 on. It's 1-0 after 3. Sister, a great volleyball player. His brother, a football player. With more on that, the third member of our crew today, Sarah Daly. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Dan. Yeah, a great afternoon yesterday for the Waka family. Lucas Waka, Michael's brother, former linebacker at Wyoming, signed as an undrafted free agent with the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, that family from Dallas. He grew up watching the Cowboys, so once a Cowboy, always a Cowboy. But he is very excited. A little mishap, however, the Cowboys were trying to get in touch with him that afternoon. They had to call his agent and tell their agent to reach out to him. And when it was all said and done, clearly a very exciting time. They will be the first set of siblings to play 2 professional sports, one in MLB and one in the NFL, should he make the 53-man roster.
Nice story. Thank you, Sarah. There's a ground out by Peraza. I don't know, as a parent, if I could watch on Sundays the NFL. I've done enough of those NFL games to know it's like watching a train wreck on every single play. It's amazing. Have you been down on the sidelines of an NFL game?
Yeah.
It's scary, isn't it? For me, it was. The good
Contact.
play by Leak.
Contact, the noise you hear, crashing the helmets and shoulder pads. Mike Leake, a very good athlete, and definitely does field his position very well.
So 2 quick outs. Gets Barnhart, now Arroyo.
Bronson couldn't get a bunt down and help his own cause last time up.
This will be pitch number 5 of the inning. And a strike to Arroyo. One ball and 1 strike. One and 2. All said and done, though, I'm sure the Waka family very, very proud.
Sure.
Here's a 1-2. And he struck him out. 4th strikeout of the day for Mike Leake. We're midway through 4, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. Remember the great catchers in franchise history, from Tim McCarver to Yachty, plus the Rick Ankiel story. Cardinals Insider with Ozzie Smith tonight at 6, only on Fox Sports Midwest. Piscotty, Molina, and Grichuk for St. Louis. The Cardinals trying to make it 10 wins in their last 12 games after starting out this season 3-9. Came off that road trip with Washington and the Yankees. John Mozeliak, as he does first game back of a road trip, will meet with the media, and he said at that point everything is on the table, but we need guys to play better. That's clear. At times it hasn't been clean, but the one thing that has been something I think Mike Matheny can count on has been his starting pitching.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a strength, and really when you think of Lance Lynn and Waka and what Leak have done, they've really given the staff a shot in the arm. You know, now Wainwright's won 2 straight starts. Got to get Martinez going. But obviously with his electric stuff, that's just a matter of time. And we thought the bullpen was going to be a strength, and they have been during this winning streak.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Piscotty grounded out to third, first time up.
Got to get Piscotty going. It's one of the things that would help out.
Fowler had the track record. You knew that it was just a matter of time. You wondered if he was pressing a bit. Big contract, new team, slow start. I mean, Piscotty is still relatively a very young major league player.
Remember last year he changed some mechanical things. Something that he was trying to do is, I guess, is very prevalent through baseball right now, and that's to hit more fly balls and try and have that power stroke. Resulted in 22 home runs a year ago. Then he worked on it all spring, but he really has not seen the benefit of that hard work yet.
Launch angle, I know you study that every morning.
Oh yeah. Exit velocity, launch angle.
3-2 pitch. What people don't know is that when you and I work together, we get up at 6 a.m. conference call by 6:15, and we go over launch angle and exit velocity.
First thing we think of.
Leadoff walk and the third walk.
I don't know about you, but I brush my teeth first.
I do too.
Oh, okay.
Then I give a little cup of coffee. I know you don't like coffee.
I don't put anything bad in my body.
No, you wouldn't do that. Picture of health, along with your 30+ surgeries. Here's Molina. The amazing thing is our director Tom Mee is up at 5:30 and prepares notes.
Yeah.
That comes after his 4 to 4.5 mile run every day.
Well, he runs backwards half the time.
But we don't realize that Tom never went to sleep. And there's a strike to Molina. 0-2. Didn't like the call. That pitch was up. So Piscotty's 4th consecutive game with a walk stands at first. 0-2 the count here on Molina. And Yadi strikes out. Second strikeout for Arroyo.
Orioles the kind of guy that puts you in a slump, and Yadi doesn't strike out much, but rarely will you see it that poorly. Totally fooled by a pitch.
And tomorrow the Cardinals face another guy that doesn't throw all that
Davies.
hard. Yeah, good changeup, and ZACK Davies.
I remember last year Brandon Moss said it was the best changeup he's ever seen. Struck him out I think 4 times, and that started him on that month-long, slump.
Overlooked with the sweep of the doubleheader and the grand slam hit by Carpenter to end game 1 was the home run by Grichuk, the 2-run shot that jump-started this team. Cardinals were down to their final out, and Grichuk hits a 2-run homer in a game that, for all intents and purposes, the Cardinals probably shouldn't have won, as sloppy as they had played.
Didn't he come in the 7th inning, got a base hit that drove in and run also?
That's right. Then took over in right field for Piscotty, part of that double switch.
Well, one thing that Grichuk has done is he's driven in 12. He's getting much better.
See if Piscotty wants to do some running on 2-1. Colton Wong is on deck. Arroyo thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So whether he just used his knowledge as a 40-year-old or was told by the bench, Brian Price, to hold the ball, but that's take the spring and out of a potential base stealer.
The 2-1 not running, and the pitch is lined to short, and they throw it away. Piscotty, though, will stay put at first. Are you ready for my bold prediction?
Yes, sir.
It's a bold one.
It's a subject.
Colton Wong will hit an extra base hit here.
I've got a bolder one. I'll hit a home run here.
There you go. Rarely, if ever, do we miss with our predictions.
Don't check us.
Yeah, the numbers would not be good. Made a great play up the middle. That saved a run. Wong, as I said, grounds to second. And the Reds strand a runner. I can't believe you thought he was going to hit a home run, Al. Nice job. Jinxed him. All your fault. 1-0 St. Louis. What a tough loss there for Dusty Baker and his club. And the Nationals off to a very good start.
Not only do they lose him for the year, they lost 3 big prospects to acquire him from the White Sox.
Billy Hamilton looks at his strike. 0-2. Hamilton is 0 for 2. And a ground ball that is fair. Nice easy hop for Carpenter. That's 5 in a row set down by Mike Leake. Fox Sports Go. Take us with us. Take us with you wherever you go. Download the app and Fox Sports Go. Here's Zach Cozart, who's 0 for 2. Strike 1. Remember in the start, that Leake had against Washington. At one point set down 19 straight as he was matched up against Max Scherzer. Cardinals picked up a win that afternoon. Fastball misses in.
He gets a very confident mound, gets into a little groove and just
line to third. And Jerko puts it away for the out.
Third base, the hot corner, reactionary position. Most of the time you only have time because the ball comes at you so quickly. You take one step and a dive. Here's just a rocket right at Jerko.
Here's Votto, who's 1 for 2. What you notice, something simple that doesn't show up time in and time out every at bat, but just Leake and location. And I mean, nothing over the middle of the plate for the most part. Not to say it's always going to happen, but he's always around the plate, but not getting hurt a lot of times over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. One of the reasons why he has not allowed a home run this year. You don't see him miss and miss poorly in the wheelhouse.
There's a fly ball out to left center on a 2-0 pitch. Votto flies to Dexter Fowler. 7 in a row set down by Leake midway through 5, and the Cardinals have the lead. Budweiser Bash. Get an exclusive bobblehead and autograph from Tom Pagnozzi Tuesday, May 2nd. And purchase your tickets at cardinals.com/budbash. I was thinking about this the other day. While the Cardinals really haven't had a stable shortstop for years, Diaz looks to take control of that in those years of a rotation. The catcher's position has been one that's been really good for the Cardinals, going all the way back to a defensive player like Tom Pagnozzi, who won multiple Gold Gloves. You had Mike Matheny and now Yadier Molina.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they're covering a span of many, many years.
Yeah.
Do you see Diaz is eventually moving to third?
I do.
I do too.
Leake with a base hit into center.
It's the third Cardinal hit today. And a leadoff hit, bringing up Fowler. See if that doesn't help ignite the offense.
We see that, I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just range-wise,
right,
especially to his left, where his bat will play anywhere.
Well, we like to think, you know, last year's bat definitely would play
oh,
anywhere.
Yeah. Here's Dexter Fowler. And he did go. Fowler is 0 for 2. How about Mike Leake again today with 5 more scoreless innings on the year, 32 and a third. He's allowed a total of 20 hits. Incredible. That's pulled foul.
And really, one of the big differences this year is I think the defense has played well behind him, particularly the infield. I think also there were times last year he felt like he had to strike people out, and he's striking out more this year than normally. So it's a good combination right now.
Votto is off the bag, but even with it in front of the runner Leake. Colton Wong's play earlier in our game is case in point.
Yes.
Took a hit and a run away.
And think about it, you know, if you're not giving up home runs, we showed what his whip is. You know, he doesn't walk very many. He's not giving up a lot of hits. And doing that, having less than 1 base runner per inning.
Pulled foul again.
It's tough to score.
Yep. He's the kind of guy too that just entices a hitter because he's around the plate a lot.
Yeah, and defensively, the club loves playing behind him if you're in the infield because he works so quickly. You can see where the outfield get a little bored.
Not many fly balls. His Fowler did not go. Two and 2 the count. Runner at first is Mike Leake. Fowler hammers that foul.
Interesting stat. Fowler a switch hitter, and what did I read today? There's only 13 switch hitters.
And Dexter told me he learned when the farm director of the Rockies came up to him and said, "By the way, you're switch hitting." He thought he was joking.
Saw him, you know, hitting left-handed in the cage, and obviously, you know, if you've got the speed, so he helps utilize it. He's a natural right-handed batter, but you put him a step closer to the first base bag, and good way to stay in the lineup every day if you can switch hit.
Natural side is the right side. His home runs have come from this side. So there he was, just messing around with the bat with the Colorado Rockies in their minor league system, and they tell him, "You're switch hitting." He started to laugh, and they said, "No, you're switch hitting. Your speed,
yeah,
you're a good athlete. Obviously, you can do it here. We want to see it in games, and within a 3-year period, he's in the big league switch hitting. That's a pretty good athlete." That's pulled foul again.
I asked him, "Do you think you would have been in the big leagues if you would have stayed right-handed?" Of course, his answer was, "Sure, I would have been." You know, but
see, the pitch is seen 9 in this at bat.
But it does help out, and you know, he takes great care of himself. Interesting article, I guess last month in the Cardinal magazine, about what he does, take care of his body, wants to play a long time.
Runner goes, and it's pulled foul again. And he kind of goes on his own routine too, which is different than a lot of players that come in, and he can get away with it because he's established. It's clearly worked. He's been a good player, but while some players, you know, stick to the mandate of the club of when to get here and how to work out, he's got his own routine, and a lot of that work is done behind the scenes at home too.
Yeah, he carries, you know, he travels home in Vegas, but you know, he's got a chef that prepares his meals, and he's vegan, diet free, no meat. He's got a massage therapist and a chiropractor that he brought from Las Vegas to stay here to keep him in shape. He says, "I'm one of the quickest ones to leave after the game because I'm hungry."
3-2 pitch drilled into the gap in right center. Leak stops at second. Ball gets away, but backing up Arroyo.
He's not running on the pitch, Mike Leake, so he got out there.
Leake could see where the defense was positioned. After he rounded the bag at second, he was ready to take off if this throw got away. Take a look here.
Not going on the 3-2 pitch. You saw him had to make sure it went through, but he saw where it was. Picks up at third base coach. Saw that the ball was going to get away, but Arroyo, his good buddy, did back up a base. That's one of the things, too. Pitchers today rarely back up home plate, or in that case, you got to kind of go between. You go towards third base. That'd be where the throw would be if it was going to get away.
Here's Aledmys Diaz. We talked about how the starters of the Reds don't go deep. That certainly is on the table when Arroyo even starts. You know, before his first pitch, you're thinking about that. I'm sure Brian Price is starting to think about that. Oof.
Remember, Diaz, the first start of the year for Arroyo, and he didn't pitch in 15 and 16. He had Tommy John surgery, missed that. But Diaz had 2 home runs against him and drove in 4.
Matter of fact, Arroyo is a musician, a guitar player, and has not been able to play the guitar for about 9 months because if he does, it hurts his elbow. He's a very good musician. One ball, one strike. A little bit low. 2-1.
I start saying that's why I don't play guitar.
That's the reason.
Yeah, it must be.
Sinking just a bit low.
So you can see how Diaz just really eyeballing that.
And as we had talked about, thought maybe this would be the case, the Reds now start having a right-hander throw in their pen. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Carpenter on deck.
Lorenzen, that right hand.
And you got to think about it if you're Brian Price. Third time through the lineup. Cardinals getting a good look at Arroyo. Hasn't had really a put away pitch as Lorenzen is throwing, and you're going into the heart of the lineup right now of the Cardinals. Bases loaded. Fourth walk by Bronson Arroyo, and it brings up Matt Carpenter. Last time in this spot, hit a grand slam to walk it off. The pitching coach is Matt Jenkins in his 31st year in the Reds organization. And Jim Hayes, who is not with us today, told us the second game of that doubleheader, the ridiculous numbers that Carpenter has at this spot. Mike Matheny telling us how Carpenter is able to slow things down when the game's on the line and the bases are loaded. He'll get a chance at it right here. So on Thursday, game 1, after the Cardinals had tied it, extra innings, looking for a breaking ball, and he got it. Walk-off grand slam in extra innings. First time the Cardinals had done that since 1987 in extra innings. The last one to do it with a walk-off was David Eckstein. The other, Tommy Herr, on seat cushion night.
Talking about Carpenter's numbers with the bases loaded. His first career grand slam, but it's well over 500 and just an unbelievable amount of RBIs.
So the shift is on. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And strike one. 581. The one grand slam with the bases loaded. A chance to bust this game open. Inning started with a base hit to center by Mike Leake. Base hit to right by Fowler. And the walk issued to Diaz. A pickoff. And Fowler back in safely.
Play we used to practice, you never see anymore. Bases loaded, pickoff. Pick off that guy at second base. You know, thinking that pay attention first and third.
Much easier to do in this type of situation too, with the shift on and the shortstop right behind the bag.
Sure. He usually have to step off.
Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You could see why Carpenter would be so dangerous with bases loaded because of his eye. You know, and he's got such a good awareness of the strike zone, and then doesn't try to do too much, just trying to make contact.
Here's a 1-1. Carpenter rips it into right. Schebler won't get there. All the way to the wall. 1-1 is in. Here comes Fowler. Diaz trying to catch him. Clears the bases. 4-0 St. Louis. Nissan driving the game off the bat of Carpenter.
Ball up over the middle of the plate, and boy, did he drive it. Look at Diaz, how close he was to Fowler. Schebler had a little trouble picking the ball up, and that allowed Diaz to score from first base. It's a knockout blow, and Arroyo is gone after Carpenter does his thing.
He's now 19 for 32. It's a .594 average. 58 driven in with the bases loaded. Clears the bases with his double that knocks out Bronson Arroyo. Got over the head of Schebler, then a little issue here getting it back in, but Diaz was racing in no matter what.
And Carpenter comes through again. Got the arms extended. Michael Lorenzen, his 11th appearance. He's giving up more hits than errors and innings pitched. Strikes out a man per inning. He's been used even as a closer, and here he finds himself in the 5th inning.
Hit number 750 in the career of Matt Carpenter. Good fastball and a good fastball hitter here. So you go from Arroyo topping out mid to high 80s, and now you get Lorenzen, who hit mid to high 90s.
That's something that, you know, managers try to do, you know, to bring in a guy that is the opposite of what was on the mound, you know, like just a breaking ball guy, doesn't throw hard at all. Now you become to a hard thrower.
The Reds have used Lorenzen as a pinch hitter, not only as a closer and a setup man in this particular case, middle relief, but he can hit too. He's a two-way player. Cal State Fullerton.
Had a pinch hit home run.
Very emotional moment for him a year ago in honor of his father. That's up the middle and a base hit. They'll hold Carpenter at third. He had to make sure that got through just past the outstretched glove of Jose Peraza.
You said fastball pitcher gets it right there, and there you see Carpenter. He had to hold. He knew that second baseman was close to the bag and had to make sure that ball went through. So it just moves up 90 feet, and with nobody out, why push it?
Fastball, a good one. Cutter and a curve. The slider. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Play at the plate. Carpenter is out. So runners at second and third. And the first out here in the bottom of the fifth that closes the book on Bronson Arroyo. 4+. 4 runs on 5 hits. Struck out 2, walked 4, no home runs.
Ball bounce here. Was that very, very sure-handed. Barnhart was able to seal off the plate. Carpenter was going on contact.
One out, runners at first and second. Yadier Molina. There you go. Steel spikes for Yadier Molina.
All the different designs and shoes now. Say that's a red shoe, or you say a white shoe.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bring that up, Dan, because it used to be only black shoes, and the Cardinals wore the black shoes, and then we all got a shipment of Adidas red shoes, and it was 1974, and Lou was going for the stolen base record, and every day for about 2 weeks, Reggie Smith would say, "Lou, can you wear your shoes now?" Everyone was dying to wear red shoes, and we had to wait till Lou was comfortable with, you know, putting on his spikes.
Here's a ground ball. Potential of a double play. Out at second, and the turn. It's a double play. Matt Carpenter with the bases loaded. A double that scores 3. Brings in Leake, Fowler, and Diaz. Knocks Arroyo out of the game. We enter the 6th. The Cardinals have the lead. It's 4-0 here at Busch. Year. And Michael Wacha so far so good, 2-1 with a 2.55 ERA. The Brewers and the Cardinals tomorrow at 6:30. Zach Davies getting the start for Milwaukee.
You could tell even in spring training that you felt very comfortable with Wacha and his ability this year. Throwing on that downward plane. I guess fair or not, still have to question, can he do it for a whole year?
Sarah told the story about Michael's brother. He's been signed by the Dallas Cowboys. Played at the University of Wyoming. So Mike Lake, ho hum, 5 innings already today, no runs, 5 hits. He has walked 1, he has struck out 4. It's Duvall, Suarez, and Schebler. He has set down 7 straight. Jim Hayes will be back with us tomorrow. His son Tyler celebrating his first communion today. So congratulations to Tyler. And Jim is with family and friends today, and I guess we'll let him off the hook.
He deserves it. Hard work.
He is. 2-2. What you hope it doesn't come back to haunt the Cardinals is that after they knocked out Bronson Arroyo, the Cardinals had a runner at second, nobody out. Jerko singled. It was first and third, nobody out, and that snaps the string of 7, and the Cardinals were not able to tack on. There's a leadoff double by Adam Duvall.
3 for 3, Adam Duvall.
A reminder, you can chill out this summer with the new frozen beverages at McDonald's. The Indianapolis Colts have signed wide receiver Trey Griffey, the son of Ken Griffey Jr. He played at Arizona, and I remember when Ken would come through town, or we'd be in Cincinnati. For whatever reason, I had a really good relationship with him, played golf with him. And if I ever asked him about baseball, he turned. You know, he didn't really want to talk about himself or baseball, but the minute I started talking about Trey or football, you couldn't get him to shut up. So now he signed with the Colts. And Ken Griffey Jr. had that famous Father's Day home run at Busch Stadium 2, home run number 500 off of Matt Morris and the St. Louis Cardinals. 0-2 the count on Suarez, who was walked and flied to center. And a strikeout for Leake. Number 5 today. Chevy Fox Tracks as we get a look at this called third strike.
Set up inside. Slider coming right over the inside part of the plate. You see why Suarez gave up on that ball, and then it breaks to the strike zone.
Here's Schebler, a double into the corner and right, and maybe the play of the game, Colton Wong with that backhanded play off the bat of Schebler that saved a run and took a hit away. Cardinals have noticed, and we've talked about it a lot, how Wong is not taking at bats to the field. You know, there's more of a presence of understanding just to let the at bat go. It's so important. You're going to make mistakes. It happens. You're going to struggle at the plate, but with his type of defense, he can save you a run or two or a game or two, and he's done that in this game.
Oh, he's very, very talented. It's just sometimes, you know, as you said, he worries about the wrong things and carries things to the field, or will make the spectacular play and then struggle a little bit with the routine one at times.
So Schebler back in the third, runners at first and second. Outstanding. Run would have scored to tie it up and continue the inning.
And would have tied it up and probably, like you said, probably had first and third.
0-2 pitch in the dirt, kept in front by YADIER. It was a couple of years ago that Mike Leake, his father, was on a roof trying to improve a home that they were building, fell off and seriously injured himself. And I asked Mike about him the other day, and he said, let's put it this way, my mom's a soldier, really helping out his dad. It was one of the reasons why many felt that he would sign with Arizona for even a higher deal than he had with the Cardinals, and that did not materialize after they went after Zach Greinke, and things kind of fell in the laps of both Mike Leake, his representatives, and the Cardinals. Cardinals had a fit. He needed a place, and here he is in St. Louis, year 2 of a 5-year deal. His time is called.
All 4 of his starts prior to today have been quality starts, and he's got to get through this inning. Bowman is warming up. His pitch count is 95 after this one.
2-2 is a base hit to left. The wave in the runner, and the throw will go into the bag at second, so Leake gives up a run. That's been a rarity this year. As Duvall scores, and the Reds get on the board, it's now 4-1.
Second hit for Schebler. Set up away. Good piece of hitting. Got it up a little bit. Maybe an indication of why tiring. So Schebler has 2 hits, and Duvall, who scores this run, he's 3 for 3 on the day.
Well, you have the bottom of the order here. Maybe Mike Matheny's thinking, let's try to squeeze out 2 more from Mike Leake. He'll go to second, out there on to first. The pick by Carpenter, but not in time. What a play there by Leake to get the lead man.
Well, we talk about he's just an athlete, and once you, particularly if you're a sinker ball pitcher like he is, once you release the ball, you're a fit infielder, and here he makes a nifty play. Momentum's carrying him towards first. He's got to throw across his body and back. A strike right there to Diaz, and Peraza runs pretty well. He beats it out the other end, but very athletic play.
Good pick by Carpenter again. He's had a couple here the last 2 games. The switch hitter, Tucker Barnhart. 1 for 2. And strike 1. Patrick Kivlahan is at the on-deck circle. Drew Storen is warming up in the pen for Cincinnati. That's past Carpenter on a pitch that was up. And Peraza is digging towards third. Piscotty digs it out of the right field corner. And just like that, the tying run will come to the plate. 3rd hit in the inning. And 2 of the 3 have been for extra bases.
And Dan, you mentioned the ball being elevated. Indication you're starting to tire. When you get the ball up, your legs are the first to go. And when you don't have that same drive, then the ball will be up.
Patrick Kivlahan, the pinch hitter.
Well, I told Yadi, Mike Matheny told Yadi to go out. Mike's on the top step. Bowman is usually the pitcher you bring in, you know, to try and get out of an inning with runners on. I'm sure he is ready if needs to be called upon. Looks like Mike will get one more shot, get the pinch hitter out.
The hitter will be Scooter Gennett.
Gennett has always hit Cardinals very well. This is last man, though.
Fastball misses in. Gennett was with Milwaukee all spring. The emergence of VR, didn't have a spot on the infield for the Brewers, and he is a Cincinnati native, so the Reds bring him home. He pulls that foul.
Good pitch, up and in. only thing he could do was turn on it, hit it foul.
An even 100 today for Mike Leake. Runners at second and third. The 2-1 pitch. He jammed him. Popped up, going out. Wong. Who's there? Fowler. He makes the catch. Mike Leake through 6 gives up a run against his former team. The authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Growth poster presented by Missouri Farmers Care is coming up. That's May 13th. And it features the Cardinals' Dexter Fowler. May 13th, the growth poster for the kids at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Drew Storn in our Chevy call to the pen. It's pretty amazing what a particular high school has put out in professional sports, which includes Drew Storn and his battery mate, Tucker Barnhart. Both are from Brownsburg, Indiana High School. There's a ground ball that's hit to short. Also a guy named Lance Lynn is part of that lineage of high school players that are now in the big leagues. So you have Storn, you have Lynn. Tucker Barnhart was an incredible basketball player too. And about the same time that Lynn and Storn started their professional baseball careers, Gordon Hayward launched a pro career with the Utah Jazz after a very good run in high school, and then he also was a Bulldog in college as Wong looks at a ball. He was at Butler, located in Indiana, led his team to an NCAA Final Four. So pretty amazing to see all those kids come out of that high school. Here's a 1-0 pitch as Wong hits it out of play.
Tuesday, Storn had an immaculate inning. You know what that is, don't you? The immaculate inning is 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts.
Breaking ball and a strike to Wong. 1-2. There's a 2009 member of Brownsburg High School, which is in the Cardinal region, that also is playing professional ball, and it's football. He was a defensive tackle with the New England Patriots. That pitch taken outside. Storen, the former closer with the Nationals, ran into all kinds of problems. Certainly that was on display against the Cardinals in postseason play.
Because of his size, not that big, you kind of surprised he was a #1 pick.
3-2 and a check swing. Andy went strikeout of Wong.
Larry Vanover with a call.
Blues are in the playoffs. It's game number 3, and they're in the first intermission, and it's 1-0 Nashville. You can follow the Blues on the postgame show, Blues Live postgame show on Fox Sports Midwest. See it on Fox Sports Go as well.
Matt Adams will pinch hit for Leake. Another quality start for Mike Leake. All 5 of his starts have been quality.
That's it out of play, and watch out. Well, Lance Lynn is starting to settle in, and a lot of times you'll see guys not only come back and be healthy but have better velocity. What they lack, though, is control, and you can't say that about Lynn.
No, and you know what? That's something that he really concentrated all spring on, throwing strikes. You know, controlling the strike zone, and it's really paying off. I think he's a better pitcher now than he was before the Tommy John surgery.
Just pinpoint with that sinker. He struck out the side in the first inning.
Well, he's confident, understands he can get people out with less velocity and then have it in reserve if he gets into a jam.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. So on the bench left for the Cardinals, Greg Garcia from the left side, Fryer the backup catcher, and Jose Martinez. The numbers so far for Lance Lynn at 29 1/3, 5 starts. He had the start in which the defense let him down in Washington. That was his 1 loss. Now, he did give up some home runs in that game, but it was extended because of the poor defense.
Just got a text from Wainwright. He said, "You didn't mention me."
That's hit up the middle, and a base hit for Matt Adams.
Well, that 9th spot in the order for the Cardinals continues to be productive. Leake was 1 for 2. Now Adams met in that 9 hole, gets a base hit.
I also think, and it doesn't show up in sabermetrics or any type of way to measure it, Lance Lynn brings an attitude and an edge to this club, and there's value to that. And he's kind of, you know, one of the last guys that's connected to, let's say, a Chris Carpenter and that great group that came through 5-10 years ago.
Oh, it's like last year. How many times we say we missed Lackey? You know, with just having that little attitude when you take the mound. And Lynn was out all last year with Tommy John, so it's hard to display it.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Dexter Fowler. It's it out of play. And you wonder how attractive Lynn will be if he hits the open market, comes through this season healthy. And the fact that he's already had Tommy John surgery. So there are some teams that know a player will need it, still sign him. John Lackey, a good example of that with the Red Sox. Pay for that year to be out, but he's already had it. As Fowler hits it sharply to Votto. He knocks it down and steps on the bag. The Cardinals strand a runner. We head to the 7th. Lynn, part of this staff that's been very good to start this season for the Cardinals. Once-in-a-lifetime experiences, from Cardinals games to amazing concerts to shows you just don't want to miss. StubHub connects you with the world of live. StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan marketplace of the Cardinals. Here's Matt Bowman in our Chevy call to the pen. He's in relief of Mike Leake. The numbers of Bowman's incredible start here: 13 appearances, 11 2/3 innings. The scoreless streak has been snapped, but he's been the most reliable reliever out of the pen for Mike Matheny's club. The Cardinals should feel rested to where if they want to go Bowman here, Rosenthal, it sets up that way.
Billy Hamilton off the base. Mike Leake did a good job. He was 0 for 3.
There's a good changeup. Bowman last pitched on Thursday. He appeared in a couple of games in the series against the Blue Jays. And the 2-2 pitch. Hamilton, leadoff base hit. If you're wondering, Hamilton is 24 for 26 in stolen base opportunities against Yadier Molina.
See this pitch. That's down, but use his hands inside outs. Ball slicing it into left field. One thing I will say, Billy Hamilton had a lot of that success because Cardinal pitchers were so poor in stopping the running game. But they worked on that quite a bit in spring training. They are much better. Got to give Yachty a chance.
COZART is 0 for 3. The Kubota power stats with Zach COZART. Highest OPS. Zimmerman, Thames, Freeman, Harper, and then COZART. Lined out to third back in the 5th. He is struck out and grounded out. How much running, if you're Brian Price, do you really want to do? Trailing by 3 in the 7th, even though it is Billy Hamilton.
I think if Billy Hamilton gets the jump that he's comfortable with, I give him, let him go. He's got 10 out of 11 this year.
And the 0-1 pitch.
Had a couple looks now at Bowman from the stretch.
Bowman gave up the 2 earned on a hit and a walk over an inning. That was Tuesday in the extra inning loss against the Blue Jays. Also struck out 2. And his streak was snapped at 19 2/3. Doesn't get the call, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
He's kind of rushing a little bit to the plate, worrying about Hamilton. You got to still worry about him, check him, but concentrate on the batter. This used to be a great running count.
The 2-1 pitch. A good sinker pounded into the ground.
You know, Dan, it used to be decades ago that 2-1 was a running count. People were so accustomed to people going on it, they started defending on that count. Now nobody runs on it, so you could probably be successful with it again. Remember, COZART hitting for a high average too, so don't make a mistake.
The 2-2 pitch. Instead, another check. Hamilton, a homegrown player. COZART is. Votto is. Cincinnati with 10 players on their roster, originally signed by the franchise or drafted. The Cardinals, by the way, with 14. That's most in baseball.
Think about how many guys went through the Cardinal system that are playing the big leagues for other clubs now too.
There is another wave of great young pitching coming right now. It's at Double-A. Position players on the cusp of making it to the big leagues. He's not running, and it's a check swing foul. Last year, John Mozeliak talked about position players being a gap year in the franchise. These guys like DeYoung and Bader and some of the others. Carson Kelly did make it up. And then the pitching is outstanding at Double-A. Arguably the best they've had in 2 decades. That's saying a lot. The 2-2 swung on and missed, and a strikeout of ZACK COZART. Plaza Tire Service and a strikeout for Matt Bowman.
Hold the string there. The bottom falls out.
And with 1 out, it brings in Votto. Single to left, back in the first, left stranded, grounded to second, also flied out to center. Good changeup.
Very good today.
As he always does, talking to himself.
Wonder if Votto minds having a base stealer take off when he's a hit.
Good tailing action.
Bowman's got a live arm. I mean, a lot of late movement on his pitches. Brett Cecil.
And he would be getting loose for Schebler. Same pitch, ground ball hit to the right side. Wong's only play to the bag at first. Runner advances to second. That's Billy Hamilton. And the batter will be Duvall.
Three for 3. Pair of doubles today.
And the first pitch taken for a ball inside. Two 2-0 the count with 2 outs, a runner at second. The Cardinals leading by the score of 4-1. Reds have out hit the Cardinals 9-7.
Yeah, they've had their opportunities. They've already stranded 8 in this ball game.
The 2-1 pitch pulled foul, and it's 2-2. Cardinals trying to make Mike Leake a 4-game winner and prove to 4-1. It is up to the bullpen. Had him out in front. It's popped up. Molina near the back screen. And it's out of play. So after 6 innings of 1-run baseball by Mike Leake, his ERA jumps up to 1.35 from 1.32, which is still best in the National League. Ivan Nova at 1.50. Then Gio Gonzalez. It's another 2-2 pitch to Duvall. Inside.
Throws that fastball. It's got sinking action. Really kind of runs in on these right-handed batters. So sets up that pitch away. The changeup.
Three and 2 the count. Hamilton, your runner at second base. Now time is called. Left-hander is throwing in the pen. That's Wandy Peralta for the Reds and Brett Cecil for the Cardinals. And Yadi wants to talk it over here. You have Suarez on deck, hits from the right side, and then Schebler. And you'd have to assume that Cecil's getting loose for Scott Schebler.
Let him get loose for him next inning. 3-2 pitch here. See if he can throw the changeup.
Duvall with 3 hits, 2 of the 3 doubles, and the only run scored for the Reds here this afternoon. 3-2 pitch, and a fly ball driven out to right, going back. Piscotty on the track over his head off the base of the wall. Hamilton will score. Duvall to second base with his 3rd double, and it cuts a lead to 4-2, and it brings the tying run to the plate.
Scotty going back on this ball. It's over his head, and then he gets real close to the wall. Stopped it here. Hit his glove, or it would have carried him further away from him.
And now Suarez, who has 5 home runs this year. 2 outs, runner at second base. He represents the tying run. That's into right. That ball will drop. Piscotty's throw should have gone into the bag at second, and now it puts the tying run in scoring position, and now puts him at third. It's now a 4-3 St. Louis lead. That throw's got to go to second base.
Yeah, it comes in here and he's thinking about going to throw it, but Duvall got a good read on it. He's firing here. It's a way off line. Then Yadi complicates it by his throw being way off second base. Cecil will come in here and try to protect the lead.
So Chevy called to the pin. The tying run at third. The go-ahead run comes to the plate to face Brett Cecil when we come back. tying run at third base. I mentioned it earlier, but you know, the Cardinals were rolling and it got overlooked, but you had runners at first and third, nobody out for the Cardinals in the fifth, and did not score to tack on. And now here we are, 4-3, and the first pitch is taken for a strike.
Remember Friday night, Cardinals had a bad seventh inning. Allowed the Reds to get back in the ball game. They were able to overcome.
Here's the 0-1. Schebler rips it into right. Piscotty back over his head. This game is tied. Schebler with the double, and this game is tied. His second double of the game, his third hit, and it's 4-4.
Reds got some firepower. Missed his location. They wanted it outside. You see it down the middle of the plate. Line drive over the head of Piscotty. Gets it back in, but as you said, we got a tie ball game.
So Bowman 2/3 of an inning, and he gives up the 3 runs. That's charged to him. And now it's the go-ahead run in scoring position, and it brings in Peraza. Two balls and no strikes. Idea when the Cardinals brought in Brett Cecil, not only to face lefties but righties and get out of these types of spots. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
He was a starter early in his career with Toronto. Moved to the bullpen and become a real specialist. Early signing for the Cardinals for big money.
And that's a stop there by Jerko, and maybe a game saver. Takes the hit and RBI away from Peraza. It saves a run, and it keeps this ball game tied at 4-4. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Time to stretch. Great play by Jerko. Hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Wandy Peralta in our Chevy call to the pen. Well, it's a game that the Cardinals missed on that opportunity back in the 5th. First and third, nobody out, did not score. And then the ill-advised throw by Piscotty. Molina threw it into center field. The double would follow, and we've got a tie game. Reds have out hit St. Louis 12-7. They've left 9 on. The Cardinals have stranded 6, and we're tied 4-4. It'll be Diaz, Carpenter, and Jerko, and Mike Leake cannot pick up a win today.
Well, let's just pick up the team win here. But another good performance wasted from a starter.
Off the end of the bat, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Diaz today is grounded out to short, also popped out to second, walked and scored. The bases clearing double with the Bronson Arroyo still in the game, and Carpenter knocked him out. And a strikeout of Aledmys Diaz.
Peralta has been nearly perfect all season long, but on Friday night he gave up a run on a couple of hits.
He has been one of the more reliable relievers that Brian Bryce has, with all these guys that are piling up innings.
After the season, Peralta retired 33 of 39 batters. Only allowed 4 hits and 2 walks on the season.
So it's been Lorenzen, a scoreless 5th, Storn scoreless in the 6th, and now Peralta. And a strike to Matt Carpenter at 96. Carpenter, a pair of doubles and a walk, a run scored, 3 RBIs.
Last one 95 miles an hour from Peralta. And when 2013, when the Cardinals brought up Segrist, Martinez, Rosenthal, all coming out of the bullpen, it was really a novelty. Everybody raved about the hard throwers. Now it seems like every bullpen has 3 or 4 of those guys.
The 0-2 and a strikeout of Carpenter. So back-to-back Ks for Peralta here in the home half of the 7th.
Not only does he have the good middle 90s fastball, but he's got a good breaking ball here. See the dot.
And the dot is by the spin.
Yeah. The tighter you spin, the more defined that dot will be.
That's the first ball issued by Peralta on his 7th pitch. Jed Jerko with a couple of hits, a double, a single, and a game-saving stop down at 3rd.
Starting to become accustomed to seeing that. Defensively, Ruiz played it very good over at 3rd base in the absence of Peralta. Possibility of Peralta may join the ball club when they're in Miami, but how do you get Peralta out of the lineup?
I don't think you can. Not right now.
I mean, Jerko out of the lineup.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Jed Jerko. Inside, 3-1. Piscotty on deck. A 3-1 pitch to Jed. 3-2. Jerko lines it to right, and the catch made by Schebler, who's had a big day today. We head to the 8th, 4-4. The hard-throwing right-hander, Trevor Rosenthal. 13 strikeouts in 6 1/3. I think what stands out when you look at Trevor, the velocity clearly hit 102 the other night. The strikeouts will be there with that velocity, but the fact that he has not walked a man this year, so important late innings.
He had that problem last year, knocked him out of the closer's role, walking so many, a lot of them to start the inning.
And a fastball that's taken high and away. Here's Tucker Barnhart, 2 for 3 on the day. A single to left, a double to right, grounded back to the pitcher. It's quickly 2 balls and no strikes.
Come back and get him.
Three and 0.
Because of the extra rest he's gotten this year, he's recorded the second highest velocity, average velocity in the big leagues.
And his first walk he's issued on 4 straight. It's to Barnhart. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. Academy Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Reds will pinch run. Alcantara, Esmendi Alcantara, the former Cub, picked up off of waivers from Oakland, will pinch run.
Mazaraco will pinch hit here, so he'll stay in the game and catch.
Mazaraco is 1 for 3 in game 1 of the series. A couple years ago, Mazaraco with 25 home runs, and with carrying a third catcher, allows Brian Price to make moves like this. Won't be exposed defensively if someone got hurt. The fastball taken high, and that's 5 straight balls. The Cardinals have talked about being very cautious with Rosenthal in terms of back-to-back games, getting proper rest, and really using him as a weapon late innings of these games. The 1-0 pitch. That's 6 straight. This crowd a bit restless.
Broxton throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Iglesias in the Reds.
There's a strike. 2-1.
Had the lat injury in spring training. Did that in the weight room.
Off the mask of Yadier Molina. 2-2. The 2-2. Hit out of play.
Rocco returned to the active roster on Friday. Last 2 years, played in a total of 39 ball games. He's had hip surgeries.
Inside corner, doesn't get the call. Mike Matheny all over the home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez. Just missed. Now time is called. That's by Carpenter, who looks at his glove.
Working on the laces.
It's the trainers many times that are the ones that will lace up those gloves and help out. Rosenthal would love to strike out or double play here. Three-two pitch. Slowly hit and a base hit under the glove of Diaz and into left. So the first two have reached here in the top of the eighth. He fights it off for the base hit. The pitch at 100 miles an hour.
Not hit hard, but effectively.
That's what you think about the velocity here with Billy Hamilton, just able to slap the ball. He can bunt. A lot of things the Reds can do in this particular spot. That's what the Cardinals are talking about here. The dangerous Billy Hamilton. Singled and scored in the seventh. That was off of Matt Bowman, who gave up the lead. Grounded to first, grounded to third, fly to center. Our crowd today of 45,682. 45682.
Speed puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Cardinals anticipating the bunt.
Hamilton squares, takes a ball. And the Cardinals charging at both corners. And this particular spot, they're going to try to get that lead man.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes a lot of sense with Hamilton's speed, and you're getting late in the ball game. There's be the winning run, so you try to seal him off. See where the positioning where Jerko, the third baseman, on the grass charging aggressively, and Diaz, the shortstop, way in the hole, close toward third base.
Could show bunt and then slap it the other way. He's showing bunt here, pulls back, takes a ball. They appeal, and that's a third base umpire. The crew chief, Larry Vanover, said that he did pull the bat back. So if Carpenter charging at first, it's a much easier play for a left-handed first baseman to throw that direction. But get it in enough time, you have a chance. You've got Wong trying to keep the runner close at second. Alcantara. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. As Rosenthal, who doesn't show a lot of emotion, looking back into the home plate umpire, wondering about some of these missed strikes. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Take one, maybe two in this spot. Who knows? Boy, Diaz is as close to third base. You'll see a shortstop.
Yeah.
They want to get that lead man. Doesn't matter. He walked him. 2 walks in the inning. Bases are loaded. In a game that seemingly was in hand for the Cardinals, up by the 4-0 lead, and trying to tack on against Bronson Arroyo, who did not have a put-away pitch. The Cardinals now on the verge of not only giving up the 4-run lead, but falling behind. Here's Zach COZART. He's 1 for 2 this season with the bases loaded, and the infield is drawn in. Now the flip side of this, you say Rosenthal has got put away stuff, dominating stuff, and strikeout stuff.
And the first thing right there is got ahead in the count. You have to pitch ahead in the count.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to COZART. And it's 0-2. Inning started with a base hit, or rather a walk to Tucker Barnhart. Alcantara's at third as the pinch runner. Mesoraco came in to pinch hit, fought off a 100-mile-an-hour pitch for a soft base hit to left, the walk to Hamilton, and now 0-2.
Now you got 2 strikes, you get the strikeout. Slider right in on the hands. Dan, this is where you dream about this situation. You're in the bullpen, nobody out, bases loaded, tough hitter up there.
The 0-2. I think a lot of guys dream of 1, 2, 3 innings.
Well, but I mean, as a reliever, you do this and everything, so then if you encounter it, you're comfortable with it.
Key man right here. Votto on deck. The 1-2 pitch. And he struck him out. So he gets the all-important first out. And now Joey Votto. As COZART thought that was low. Votto today has singled to left, grounded to second, flied to center, and grounded to second again. He does own in his career a couple of grand slams.
Here's where you really miss Segrist if he was throwing how we've seen him in the past.
Votto, first pitch, line foul. He is 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts against Rosenthal. Votto always starts the at-bat with choking up on his bat. The rare players to do that, not just with 2 strikes. Hunter Pence comes to mind as another that will do that.
Rizzo does it too, doesn't he?
Yep.
But very few, as you said.
0-1 pitch, misses in. Cardinals with the corners about halfway in. Same with the middle infield for the potential of a double play. Here's a 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and a strike, and now it's a hitter's count.
And you got a hitter that knows the strike zone very well, won't chase, won't deviate from it. Supreme confidence in his ability.
The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Can he put him away?
And with a lot of other hitters, you know, you elevate the ball, but with him knowing the strike zone, not sure that works.
Up the middle, base hit. A run will score, and the Reds have their first lead of the day. It's now 5-4.
You know, Dan, the Cardinals are playing the Reds for the 2nd time already in this young season. They're a dangerous team because they don't know they're not good. You know, when you play clubs like the Reds early in the season, they still think that they can compete with you. Games go along, they'll find out. But here's a get a great hitter. Of course, the first mistake was walking the leadoff man of the inning.
And here's Duvall, who is 4 for 4. It was a grand slam earlier this year. Bases loaded, 1 out. Oh, 2.
Ball started this game at 214 batting average with 4 for 4. He's up to 250.
Struck him out. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 hits in this inning. But again, it's a game of missed opportunities here for the Cardinals. Also the misplay on the throw by Piscotty. Then the error by Molina and a throw to second. Led to a tying run, and now the Reds have the lead 5-4. Here's Suarez. There's strike 1. 30 pitches in the inning for Rosenthal. Not that Mike Matheny is worried about tomorrow, but you'd have to think he's off limits. Just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's popped up to the right side. Minimal damage, could have been worse. A run scores here in the top of the 8th, and the Reds have their first lead of the day. It's 5-4. Who was in line for the victory, but the bullpen has given it up, and now the Cardinals trail by the score of 5-4. Leake always fields his position well. 6 innings today and just 1 run allowed.
Nifty play right there. Now they got their work cut out. Iglesias will take over. Alcantara stays in the game. He's playing left field. Mesoraco behind the plate. Let's see the numbers for Iglesias.
It'll be Piscotty, Molina, and Grichuk. There's Mesoraco behind the plate. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Piscotty is grounded out twice, and he also walked. Alcantara left, and the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. So far, so good with the bullpen here with the Reds. Lorenzen a scoreless 5th, Storm the 6th, Peralta the 7th, and now Iglesias here in the 8th. Still think a real key to the game. Lorenzen came in He gave up a base hit back in the 5th. That made it runners at first and third, nobody out. Piscotty at the plate. Grounded to short for a play at the plate to get Carpenter. And then Molina bounced into a double play to end the threat. The 2-1.
Reds started their rally last inning with a walk.
The 3-1 pitch. And it's a leadoff walk. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of the '67 World Series against the Red Sox, including a pregame ceremony honoring the Cardinals' '67 team, brought to you by Budweiser. That day, 30,000 fans 16 and older also receive a 1967 Mystery World Series replica ring. That's courtesy of Ameren, Missouri. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Cardinals have received now their 5th walk in this game. Molina spins away from a strike. Yadier with 1 home run. That was a couple of weekends ago against the Yankees. Over 3 today. And the 0-1. Cardinals tested Mesoraco yesterday. Picked up a stolen base in his return to behind the plate.
Of course, the Reds are open for a ground ball double play.
And the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
Comes down sidearm on occasion and trying to hit the outside part of the plate. Got it to bail. God is so good. Votto holding him man on. Peraza up towards the middle. There's perfect hitting room to the right side.
Two and two. Runner at first is Piscotty. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 and 2. Grichuk on deck. The 3-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. There goes Piscotty. Strike him out. Now run down. Slips, tag, double play.
Wow. Didn't have a good jump at all.
And now there's 2 outs. Nobody on for Randall Grichuk.
Randall's going to hit a home run here.
That's your call, huh?
That's my call.
The big home run the other day to tie the game up at 2. Game 1 of the doubleheader against the Blue Jays. Looked like Mesoraco took that off the arm. And the 0-1. This is the kind of pitcher you would think would be very tough on Randall Grichuk. Drops down, throws that slider a lot. We talk about it. He's getting better at not chasing that pitch, but still a tough pitch to lay off of.
Yeah, but I'm going to see where he's going to try and do exactly what you said and leave one on the middle half. And kind of a frisbee, and they fly.
And there it was.
The more you throw, the more chance you have to throw the hanger. Fastball away.
One and two the count. Grichuk today has walked, lined out, grounded out.
Slap that back leg, keep it anchored. Don't get off on your front foot or chase it.
Reds bullpen trying to make it 5 scoreless innings in this game.
Here's your slider. That was in between. Almost what I wanted. Not quite good enough for what you were, slider you were talking about. Another slider.
1-2 pitch. Struck him out. That sends us to the 9th. Grichuk facing some pretty tough stuff there from Iglesias. As we talked about, the slider, very good pitch, and struck him out. Jonathan Broxton. And Broxton, his 9th appearance, the high ERA. Schebler, Peraza, Alcantara. It's 5-4 Cincinnati. And the first pitch is a strike. Schebler is 3 for 4 with a pair of doubles today.
Schebler's double in the 7th inning drove in the 5th run, the difference in this game. He and Duvall been the big offensive stars for the Reds.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Hit up the middle, Wong. Oh, nice play on the backhand. Rob Schebler for the out. His second fine defensive play in this game.
And running hard to get that ball up the middle, almost on the grass, and then is on the grass when he throws the ball.
His first one was against Schebler too.
Yeah, he had to go up the elevator, jump up, and throw. This one stayed on the ground, but still a very tough throw and a nice play.
And a ball taken high by Jose Peraza. He was robbed by Jerko last time up. That saved a run, kept the game tied 4-4 at the time. Hit into a fielder's choice, grounded to short and struck out. Drops down a bunt, and no play here from Jerko. Base hit for Peraza. So the 1-out hit, and it brings in Alcantara, who came in as a pinch runner for Barnhart, and that started the rally in the 8th against Trevor Rosenthal, and scored on an RBI from Joey Votto. So 1-out runner at first. Alcantara is a switch hitter, hits from the left side. And the first pitch, instead another check on Peraza. The bottom of the 9th, the Cardinals have the bottom of the order coming up. They've already used Matt Adams. It'll be Colton Wong to lead it off. We started this ball game on time. Cardinals jumped out to a 4-0 lead. Leaked through 6 innings, gave up 1 run. Peraza is running, throw by Molina, and out at second base.
You may want to look at this one.
Well, one way or another, they're going to look at it. It was a high throw. Brian Price gets the attention of the home plate umpire, and they will take a look.
Naked eye, I thought he was safe.
I would agree.
High throw, tag, after he get the feet across the bag.
Did his foot come off the bag?
That's where you could possibly.
I think he looks safe. That call by second base umpire David Rackley. And if you're Brian Price, that's an important run out there, so why not challenge at this point in the game?
Visited the umpiring center, right?
Right now, what they may be doing is enhancing that to see if he did come off the bag.
And just like the legs came up, but it looked like he was always still had some part of his body making contact.
I agree.
I hope we're wrong.
A stolen base for Peraza after his bunt base hit. He's in scoring position, 1 out. The call is overturned. And a chance for Alcantara to add to this 1-run lead of the Cincinnati Reds.
Alcantara, kind of a valuable guy. He plays all 3 outfield positions. Third, short, second base. I'm sure he could play first if called upon. We do have to have versatility now, the way they carry so many pitchers on in your bullpen.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Hit the other way under the glove of Jerko, who lost his glove. Peraza will stop at third base, and it's runners at the corners.
Like he just really guided that ball, and just Jerko trying to backhand it, stayed down on him.
Just got a piece of it, slowed it up, and Alcantara was even thinking 2 after that. Peraza, and to make sure it got through, it did, then stopped at third. And it brings in Devin Mesoraco, who has an infield, or rather a base hit to left. And his lone plate appearance back in the 8th as a pinch hitter against Trevor Rosenthal. Broxton needs a double play. Runner goes. Pitch up and in. Throw down to second. Now back to the plate. And out. Strong throw back in. Colton Lawn.
Well, it didn't fool Colton at all. He came forward conceding the stolen base, but got himself to where he could relay it back to Yadi as quick as possible. Remember, you have to, catcher has to give him a lane. So here's the stolen base, up and in. Fires it right back there. Yadi gives him the lane and applies the tag all in one motion. But a very nice throw.
It's clearly out.
And his hand, he gave Yadi, didn't even have to tag him. The hand came right to the glove.
So the Cardinals keep this a 1-run lead. 1-0 the count with 2 outs now, and a runner at second base for Mesoraco. Big play in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2.
Good slider there from Broxton. A lot of times a play like that when your defense really propels you through and get the final out, keep it a 1-run deficit.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Tapped foul.
Cardinals have been out hit 16-7. They've committed the only error of this game, and it was a costly one.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. With 2 outs and a runner at second base. Struck him out. Sends us to the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals down by a run. It's 5-4. Look at that top line there. 16 hits for the Reds. They have stranded 13.
Iglesias, his second inning to work and close this game out.
So the Lorenzen came in relief of Arroyo in the 5th. Did not give up a run. Storen a scoreless 6th. Peralta the 7th. Iglesias the 8th, and trying for a scoreless 9th. So in a game in which the Cardinals led 4-0 against Bronson Arroyo, now they trail 5-4. And the 0-1 pitch. 0-2 on Wong. Iglesias save opportunities more than an inning. Very good. 4 of 5 and a .93 ERA.
What a difference there. Bullpen this year and last.
Bullpen last year historically bad.
And of course this year, you know, they've been pretty good, but it's hard to imagine it's going to last because they're pitching so many innings out of that bullpen.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Iglesias started the 8th with a walk to Piscotty, and then a strike him out, throw him out double play of Molina and Piscotty. Then he struck out Grichuk. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Wong. There's a base hit. The Cardinals have a life. Leadoff hit here in the bottom of the 9th.
Iglesias shook off the fastball, wanted to throw the slider, and Colton Wong got it.
That slider against a lefty with a right-hander on the mound can be oh so dangerous.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll maybe try and backdoor it, but here it gets too much. You see it's up in the zone. A good slider to a lefty, you really want to throw it in on the hands. But leaving it out over the plate, you know, you're asking for trouble.
Here's Greg Garcia, the pinch hitter. Cardinals left on their bench. Fryer, the backup catcher, and Martinez. Greg just finds a way to get on base. And a strike. Dexter Fowler is on deck.
Cody Reed. Lefty's warming up.
I think it's because of that slider and the fact that he drops down that Mike Matheny takes his chances with a left-handed hitter in this spot instead of Martinez.
Yeah, I think so too. And
runner at first is Wong. He's back in safely. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Inside to Garcia. Brian Price asking his bullpen to get the last 15 outs of this game.
Fastball away.
The 1-1. Slowly hit to the right side. Wong hustling. He's in scoring position. Dexter Fowler the other night against Toronto had a base hit. And the Cardinals were down to their final out. And an RBI that tied the game, sent us into extra innings against the Blue Jays. Game eventually won by Toronto. Today he has singled to center and scored in the 5th. Grounded out twice and flied out to right.
Left-handed hitters are batting .231 against Iglesias. Righties .107. So kind of furthering your point.
Big gap in left center. Fairly shallow Billy Hamilton in center field.
His great speed, he can run down a lot of fly balls.
And Fowler looks at strike 1. And the Cardinals come back one more time. They've done that so far in this homestand. The tying run at second base, winning run at the plate. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Good play by Mesoraco to make sure that that stayed in front. Wong doesn't advance. Cody Reed continues to throw in the bullpen. Get the feeling he'd be available for Carpenter. Diaz on deck, and a 1-1 pitch. Hit out of play. A shift. The infield of Cincinnati. And the 1-2. Fowler pulls it to first. Votto stays down on it. A flip. And they get the man at first base, Dexter Fowler. Wong advancing to third. And it brings in Diaz. On one hand, you'd say it'd be a decent matchup for Diaz because that slider sometimes can sit there and he'll drive that ball. On the other hand, if it's sharp, he's been prone to chase that pitch here in 2017.
Last year, there were a lot of times when he was chasing a pitch and got his infield singles. Threw the ball in the inner part of the plate where he turned on it and showed you the great power.
Base hit, no. Dropped, kept with it, made the play. This game comes to a close. The Reds come back down 4-0 and they win it 5-4. Joey Votto, our Budweiser player of the game, 2 for 5 with a pair of singles and an RBI. Disappointing loss for the Cardinals.
Very disappointing. You have 4-0 lead. You like to think you're going to close that one out.
So the Cardinals split. 5-4 final post game next.